Geraldine had always believed that the most important decisions were made not in the office but on the ground, among the people who truly lived in the real world. As the CEO of one of the country's largest airlines, she tried to keep a connection to everyday passengers and never forgot that her success depended on every person who boarded a flight. Today, however, she decided to relax a little and take care of personal matters, away from the responsibilities of her position. She had chosen this flight for a quick trip to another city. She didn't want to be recognized, so she opted to stay in economy class, sitting by the window. This was a regular flight, with no important business objectives, and Geraldine was enjoying the peaceful moment, not attracting any attention. Meanwhile, a young flight attendant named Laura was walking down the aisle, ensuring that all passengers were following the rules. Laura was strict with her job, always monitoring the passengers and making sure they stayed in line. She was confident that her authority was essential for maintaining order on board. As she moved through the cabin, she noticed a woman sitting in economy class who didn't seem like she belonged there. Geraldine, wearing dark sunglasses and dressed simply, seemed calm and composed. But Laura couldn't understand why this woman was in economy class. She didn't look like she belonged there. Laura assumed she should be in business class, and she was certain that the woman needed to either upgrade her seat or leave the flight if she didn't comply with the rules. Laura approached Geraldine, her face showing a hint of disapproval. "Excuse me," she said with cold politeness, "but it seems like you're sitting in the wrong seat. This seat is taken, and we can't allow any rule violations." Geraldine looked up from her phone, surprised. She thought maybe the flight attendant had made a mistake. Before she could say anything, Laura continued, "You either need to move to another row or vacate the seat if this isn't your ticket. We take these things very seriously." Geraldine smiled gently, but her expression remained calm. "This is my seat," she said patiently. "I'm not going anywhere." Laura, unsure of how to handle the situation, didn't believe the woman. She thought that maybe Geraldine was simply trying to avoid paying for a proper ticket. "This is unacceptable," Laura snapped. "If you don't cooperate, I'll have to report you to the captain. Please leave the seat or I'll be forced to remove you." Geraldine, feeling the situation was getting out of hand, decided not to argue further. She stood up and calmly walked toward the aisle, her heart telling her that this was more than just a misunderstanding. "Just so you know," Geraldine said, turning back, "I'm the CEO of this airline and you just asked me to leave my own flight. Maybe you don't realize who you're talking to." But Laura, still not taking her seriously, shrugged. "I'm just following the rules," she replied, her tone dismissive. "Rules are the same for everyone." Geraldine returned to her seat, but the tension was palpable. Laura kept glancing back at her, as though expecting her to break the rules again. But Geraldine, who had been calm up until now, was starting to feel frustrated. She realized that if she didn't take action, this situation would only escalate. She raised her hand and called over the captain. As the man approached, Geraldine was doing her best to control her rising irritation. "Excuse me, Captain," she said, "but I don't know how you feel about discrimination on board, but I was just asked to leave my seat. I'm actually the CEO of this airline." The captain looked taken aback. He quickly realized that this was no ordinary incident. Laura, standing nearby, nervously tapped her finger on the metal armrest. "What's going on, Laura?" the captain asked, his voice stern. Laura was flustered. She tried to justify her actions. "I was just doing my job, sir. I didn't know who this woman was. She was violating the rules, and I—" The captain cut her off. "That's not an excuse, Laura. You need to be more aware and professional." After the flight ended, Geraldine got a full report on what had happened. The captain personally apologized, but that wasn't enough for Geraldine. She wasn't going to let the incident slide without consequences. She immediately contacted the company's management to inform them of the situation. "I don't think this can be left unchecked," she said firmly. "This wasn't just a violation of rules, it was an attack on the company's reputation. This flight attendant needs to be held accountable for her unprofessional behavior." A couple of days later, Laura was called in for an interview with HR and management. After an investigation, it was revealed that Laura had a history of bias and had been involved in similar incidents before, where she discriminated against passengers based on their appearance or status. Laura was fired. The decision was made not just because of the incident with Geraldine, but also because of her past actions, where she had been seen treating passengers unfairly for no reason. When the news of her termination spread throughout the company, Laura was left with nothing but shame. She had lost her job and the respect of her colleagues. Geraldine, despite the ordeal, remained calm and resolute. In an interview, she commented on the situation. "We all deserve respect, no matter who we are or what we do. This incident is a reminder that prejudice can cost you your career, and losing respect is far worse. We should never judge others based on their appearance or status. Every action we take has consequences, and it's important to remember that respect is the foundation of healthy relationships and successful work."